such a serious topic here, IVF, and it really has affected and impacted so many families in such a great way, allowing life to come into their home. Senator Britt, I'll start with you. The conversation about IVF started in your home state. Can you talk to me about this and the importance of this bill to you?
Absolutely. So obviously the conversation started in Alabama. I was proud that Alabama, the most conservative legislature in the nation, acted quickly and affirmatively to say we are going to support and protect IVF. You know, when we're looking at this, this is about families, and I believe the Republican Party is the party of families. We're the party of life. We're the party of supporting parents and children. And I think that this is absolutely just a continuation of that. You know, Ted and I have talked to a number of people, whether they're friends, whether they are family members, or whether they're constituents, who have told us that they used IVF to be able to bring the miracle of life into this world. And so I think the greatest gift that God has ever given me is the opportunity to be a parent. And Ted and I want to make sure that others have that same opportunity as well.
For many families, it could be sort of the last chance option for them to welcome children. And I think back even to that initial Alabama ruling. I mean, you had a couple who lost embryos, right? And that ultimately led to the decision from the state Supreme Court. With this new bill, will there be protections in place to actually protect the embryos and the parents of the embryos?
So this bill is silent on those questions. This bill leaves that to the states. What it says is that every state must allow IVF to happen, that no state can ban it. And the reason we came together and did this is IVF is miraculous medical technology. It has enabled, every year about 2% of live births in America are from IVF. We've had over 8 million babies born through IVF. And for parents that desperately want a little boy, a little girl, it has enabled them to be parents, to bring a child into the world, to love that child, to raise that child. And what happened is you had that Alabama Supreme Court decision, which the decision did not strike down IVF. It concerned, as you said, parents who had gone to a clinic and the clinic had negligently allowed the embryos to be destroyed. And so it was the parents upset that the clinic had screwed up. But the consequence of it, there was a lot of misunderstanding. And frankly, there was a lot of partisan manipulation of both the media and Democrats saying, oh, this means IVF is going to be banned across the country. And so Katie and I decided to come together and put together clear legislation that unequivocally protects IVF. Nearly 90% of Americans want IVF protected. There are 100 senators. To the best of my knowledge, all 100 senators support IVF. And so this should be a bipartisan bill. This should be a bill that every senator can come together and say, look, there are lots of issues on which we disagree, but we all agree that protecting the ability of parents to seek fertility treatment and to have a child, that is a wonderful thing.
It is a wonderful thing. Obviously, there are many parents out there watching this segment agreeing with that. Senator Britt, how does Medicaid funding play a part in this bill and protections?
Well, we know how important that is for each and every state across the nation. So it's a great way to show the seriousness of the issue and to ensure that states protect the process of IVF. Just like Ted said, though, letting the states be able to, on their own, kind of sort of figure out the ramifications or the parameters in which they want to move forward is also critically important. But what we wanted to do is any parent out there that is either in the process or has anxiety because they want to start the process, you know, we wanted to make sure we very clearly said we stand with you in bringing life into this world, and we're going to make sure that that's legal in every single state.
As you point out, this has become politicized, right? We saw Democrats immediately sort of attack this stance, the Alabama ruling, not to mention, you know, how the media has covered it. There was this super PAC, a Progress Action Fund, enlisting the help of Eric Swalwell of California.
Wow.
We've got some of the advertisement. Here's this commercial.
I still can't believe this beautiful girl is ours.
Our little IVF miracle.
Hey. Sorry, she's not yours anymore.
What are you talking about? Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. We made IVF illegal, and we're not letting you criminals raise her.
You can't do this. She's our baby.
Senator Cruz, you just want to respond to that?
Look, that's utterly repulsive. And sadly, it is par for the course. What we saw in the wake of the Alabama Supreme Court decisions was Democrats seizing upon it as a political issue. And there's a reason. Democrats today, they have decided they are the party of abortion. but their policies are so extreme that their policies are very unpopular. So Katie and I are both in the Senate. Every single Democrat senator supports unlimited abortion up until literally the moment of birth, partial birth abortion in the 39th or 40th week. That is grotesque. And it is an extreme minority position. Only 9% of Americans agree with that. 91% say that's going too far. And so the Democrats realize if they have to defend their actual positions, they're defending an indefensible position. So what they do instead is they try to scaremonger, and they try to suggest, well, okay, that scary Republican congressman that they had there is going to come stop IVF. Well, we now have a chance to make unequivocally clear, to put into federal law, you have a federal right to access IVF technology if you want to be a parent. And this is a great chance. It'll be interesting to see what Democrats do on this. That on the merits, they should be happy to come together and say, let's all do this together. This is common ground. They may decide that they want to play politics instead, that they'd rather run those ads than actually come together and pass a law protecting IVF. We'll find out.
And that was totally dishonest. I mean, the IVF is not outlawed in any state across the nation. So the fear-mongering, the dishonesty that we're seeing from the left, I think is only going to continue into November, which is why this piece of legislation is so important.
You would assume that this would be bipartisan support, given the rhetoric that we've seen so far from both sides of the aisle. We'll watch that bill. We appreciate you talking about that. We have